Time to talk hot boards now on Warchant TV. This is the stuff that you want to hear right now. Florida State new coaches, Florida State new coordinators, position coaches. We're going to talk coordinator today, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. He's Michael Langston, senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang, and today we're going to talk about it from a recruiting perspective. If you want a coordinator who can go hit the trail and make something happen, this is the segment for you. So, Michael, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You wrote a great piece on Warchant.com breaking down some of the names that were on the hot board over on Warchant, the Tribal Council. We've got a separate article for just the names. But from a recruiting standpoint, if Florida State was to land an offensive coordinator who could really hit the trail and do some damage for the Noles, who would that person be?
Whew, man, it's tough when you have a lot of good candidates on there. But for me, I go to the Brennan Marion guy. That just fits everything that I'm looking for. He knows your situation, your system. It's going to be easy to connect the dots when it comes to recruiting with a guy like that Mike Norvell is familiar with, and he's done a great job. If you look at his pedigree, I think we covered a lot of them in there, in the recruiting part of what he's done, even in his time as Texas, and certainly his time at Texas is one where you really see a lot of stuff, but the guy can certainly everywhere he's been, it seems like both the offense is really good, and then two, from a recruitment perspective, it's really high. So I look at, for me, just the combination of the two, because that's what I'm looking for. I watched your thing with Aaron. He says, hey, recruiting's good, but you want to get the right guy. And to me, I think you have to have that even balance. And I think out of all the candidates, for me, Marion checks off the most boxes, and I like his history. Fairly young too, because he's going to be able to relate with a lot of guys, and I think that's a part of recruiting. It connects, and that one really stands out to me.
So that's okay. Let's talk about that very quickly. You saw we do have a long form video. Maybe we'll put it in the comments underneath here on Warchant TV, where Ira and I are talking about the hires, what it's going to look like, how Mike Norvell wants to structure his organization now in the 2.0 era of Mike Norvell at Florida State. Recruiting's still really important, Michael. I mean, like the old school bread and butter things of relationships still matter, even when money is at play. And money, everybody knows that NIL is now a thing. But talk to me about that. What you see from the kids and how valuable a relationship still is when it comes to getting yeses and signatures for kids to join universities out of high school.
Relationships are important, but so is product. And so when your product is off, it kind of throws off the relationship stuff, where it doesn't mean it is hypersensitive. But at the other part of the spectrum, they have to be more aggressive from the high school market of way they recruit kids. I think as a whole, and that goes with NIL, that goes with just their approach. I mean, because when you have three different kids telling you, "Hey, I don't think they should be in the portal as much as they do," that are high school kids, that's a problem when kids are saying that, because that's going to be your future of guys that are committing to your program for at least the 3 to 4 years. So I think that direction also has to change. But I think it's vital with the relationships, but the other stuff, is creeping up higher up there in NIL, and certainly production on the field. I mean, kids want to see a place, whether they say it or not, they want to see something that they can grasp onto, that they can say, because in a sense, it's an investment for the players as well. When they go, they're investing in you, getting them ready for potentially the next level, or just potentially they want to be a part of something that is going in the positive direction.
Well, and if it's a productive offense in college, you're going to get paid off of that too. That's the other thing is,
exactly.
We used to say that, well, if you're in a productive offense in college, the payday comes at the NFL. Well, actually, by the time you get to your second or third year, if you're playing, you're on the field early in your career and it's productive, every year you come back to the collective, you're going to make some money now. So it's the way the kids look at the balance sheet. Michael, I'm told, is very different than it used to be, meaning a couple of years ago in NIL, you might have been dealing with a family member. You might have been dealing with somebody who was in the circle of where a kid grew up. Now it seems like these kids, the top flight ones that Florida State wants to attract, are retaining legitimate agencies, like, the big dogs that are representing talent across multiple industries. And so the conversation gets a little bit more mature.
Yeah, and the thing is, the ones that aren't like that aren't as big as NIL, they're more so in the minority now, because of there's going to be people want some bite. Now, there's some that go way overboard, and they're just, you're talking ridiculous numbers like Bryce Underwood and these other guys, and that I think that's in a rare situation. But to value kids, you're going to have to show that you value them, not just with your words and talking, but certainly with the NIL and just how you pursue them too. I think that's a really big thing that I think they have to do a better job, is just aggressively showing in the high school market that they're valuable. Whether the way you pursue them. So I think, and it's not a big change. I think it's just a slightly a bump up that they need to do, and they've done pretty well as far as high school. But I think overall needs to be a little more aggressive as far as what they do, and that's why I think when you add a guy like Marion, he just fits that criteria, and I like guys that connect off each other, and I think when you add and kids recruits feed off that when they see the OC connect with the head coach, it's easier to sell that to say a 18-year-old kid when you're deciding you can tell them personal stuff that about. If you add a new OC that you don't know, that's a new brand, you're having to create like, well, I don't know him, but his offense is really this or that. But
Right.
from a personal standpoint, you can tell personal stuff about Marion because you know him, and it really connects the dots for families. When you're sitting in that room and you're doing in-home visits, it really helps them connect better, and you have a stronger chance, I feel. So that's why I like him a little bit more than the other candidates. I think people could see a lot of the other ones. There's several others that on there that certainly bring some recruiting prowess, but I think from him, he just connects the dots for me.
The one guy that you put on the list, and there are more names than we'll discuss here,
Yeah.
but it's a Florida State grad.
Yeah.
It's former Rice coach Mike Bloomgren. He's got an offensive line background, so it would be interesting to fire an offensive coordinator who didn't call plays but was focused on the offensive line, and bring in another one that does the same kind of thing. But Mike Bloomgren, when you listed out, Michael, in the graph of all the guys that he's gotten over his tenure in college, that is a very impressive resume.
Yeah.
And it's a Florida State grad to boot. Maybe
Yeah.
your thoughts on him before we sign off for today.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned this in the article, like, even if, say you pass on him as offensive coordinator, man, you got to do everything. I think he fits. Like, if we do an offensive line hot board, he's going to be certainly really high up there. If I do recruiting impact, he's got multiple 5 stars. He's a very good recruiter. You look at his offensive lines; they're really good. Not to make this an offensive line segment, but he's been really good in the offensive line. And to me, I felt like more sold on him as an offensive line guy. I don't know a lot about his offensive coordinator, but from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, you're like, hell yes when you watch that. I mean, you're like, this guy fits everything we're looking for, and a Tallahassee guy, so he's going to be engaged for a while. He's not a guy that's going to be looking around to go somewhere else. I also I know he got fired at Rice, but I love when guys that you're considering have head coaching experience. That means they know organization, they know stuff like that, and that fits to whatever position you throw him in. So he is in a very attractive guy on that radar, and that's the main reason I put him on there. It had nothing to do with he's from Tally. It really just jumped out to me. His resume, just from a recruiting standpoint, is outstanding.
More information on this particular topic on the defensive side of the ball, Michael Langston breaking it down from a recruiting perspective, and then our hot boards in general available for subscribers at warchant.com. It's always free on Warchant TV. So hit the like, subscribe to our channel, always free. But at warchant.com, you can join us for $1 for 1 week of access. Plus, I'll tell you in a second, we got something called the 150 special, plus an annual sub for 50% off, half off your first year with us at warchant.com. We're calling it the 150 special, $1 for 7 days. So if you just want to give us a shot for a week and see the quality of the product that we put out there, we challenge you to do that and be unsatisfied with the work we have at warchant.com. 50% off your annual subscription after that. Michael Langston and I will be reconvening for a defensive video. Yeah. Same topic, different side of the ball. We're going to talk about the defense, and you're going to find that video very, very shortly here on Warchant TV. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Michael, thank you for your time as always.
You got it.